podcast. You're a part of the resistance.
Welcome back to Star Wars News Net's The Resistance Broadcast. My name is John Hoey. Thank you so much for joining us today and being a part of the Resistance. It is great to be back. I miss James and Lacey. I miss talking Star Wars with all of you. But we do have a really fun show for you this week. It represents our final show before Solo hits theaters. So we're going to change things up just a little bit. With that in mind, if you haven't yet, go take the Solo Challenge. It's posted all over our Twitter page at RBATSWNN. We're just asking you to guess what will happen in Solo, a Star Wars story, through a series of questions, and the person with the highest score will be crowned champion. We were joined by our friends Black Series Rebels and Star Wars Explained to put together an incredible prize package for our winner. We'll get into that in a little bit, but right now, let's say hi to the crew, James Bainey and Lacey Gillerin. What's going on, guys?
Chicago. Talking about that later. Chicago. This isn't even a real song. I'm just making it up because
I can't help but notice that you've started singing more and more as the episodes have gone on.
I don't know, man. I just feel a little more relaxed, I guess. I don't know. But I am so pumped that it's coming to Chicago. Chicago is my personal closest like major city. So that is like, it feels like it's coming home. Bears. So this is
pizza.
This is good news. You guys aren't even listening. You're talking about pizza and bears.
Balls. No, yeah, I'm really excited about Chicago. Lacey, you fired up about this or what?
Yeah. So, hey guys, how's it going? I'm super pumped about Chicago and or Celebration in general. And John made fun of me for booking my hotel in like 5 seconds after they announced it. And guess who's wrong now? John, per usual. Lacey's in the official hotel. It's going to be awesome.
Right.
And I'm really excited.
My hotel is in Indianapolis, I think, so I'm going to take it. A long-form Uber.
There's a subway that's going to be taking
and
us
I can't
in.
wait to rub this in John's face in a couple days when him and I go see Solo together.
The difference is, though, is actually I'm close enough that I'm going to be driving up. So we will have a car.
Woof.
So if we need to go in town, or we need to go to the clubs, or we need to go see the Cubs.
What clubs are you going to?
What clubs am I going to?
John, you want to drive 13 hours together? Road trip.
No, I'm going to take a flight. Maybe on like Spirit Airlines just to make it an exciting adventure. Because I heard Spirit Airlines always delivers a nice delay, or they'll lose your bag, or something cool to make me nice and fired up to be pissed off just in time for Celebration.
Or you can take the Millennium Falcon. Punch it, Chewie!
I know. I have to stop saying punch it. Everyone's using it now. I need a new thing for the rundown. We'll do that on the other side of Solo because we don't have a rundown this week. But what we do have are poll results, guys. And speaking of Celebration, we simply asked you guys, will you be going to Star Wars Celebration 2019 in Chicago next April? And we said if you vote yes, leave a comment because we want to try to set up a hangout next year at Celebration so we can get together with you guys, hang out, talk Star Wars, nerd out. And so the votes were in, and 33% of you, so 1/3 of you said yes, you'll be there. 39% said no, and 28% of you are not sure yet. You said maybe. So you do have some time, figure it out, but we hope 28% of you change that to a yes, because we want to see all of you down in Chicago, right, guys?
Oh, yeah. I'm actually surprised that the results were as even as that. I thought people would say, yes, they're definitely going. I'm decided. But I expected, I know no won the poll, but I expected it to be like, 50% or higher. People saying like, yeah, I mean, it would be great, but I've never gone, and
5 days of fun.
I just can't make it. It's always too expensive or some reason. But it looks like a lot of people are thinking they're just going to go ahead and try to pull it. I mean, it's likely that we're going to get episode 9 stuff at this. So if you're on that maybe fence, think about that. JJ's going to be there. We're probably going to get a trailer.
Lacey's going to be there. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I said JJ and I was referring to me and John.
Right.
Oh, That actually worked. I was going to say no. but it worked. Damn it.
And LG is going to be there, aka Lucas, George.
Yeah.
It's going to be a great event.
Screw you guys.
All right,
I'm going to have
we're
my
already-
own meetup.
We're already getting goofy here, and I like it. But that, yeah, you're right, James. That did kind of feel like a very like honest, like example of answers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like the gut, like, yeah, why not? I'll say yes. Some people were like, man, geez, am I going? I better answer this truthfully. This podcast poll,
Yeah.
whether I'm going to Celebration or not. So I better put maybe just in case.
Did you guys see I put out some personal polls and they both came back 50-50?
Yes,
I'm like,
yeah,
thanks, guys. You guys are really helping me out.
So lesson learned, children.
Yeah.
Everyone out there, make sure you vote because your vote does count. Okay. We did have some best comments. Since we are doing a fun episode this week, I picked a few of them. And again, it was, if you say yes, leave a comment because we want to hang out with you. And our buddy Scotty Jayro at the Scott Jayro said, I'm totally taking y'all out one of those 5 days for dinner. So Scotty's going to buy us some deep dish pizza. And I accept.
Scotty knows what's up.
When I was in the band, that was one of the first things that I did when I got to Chicago. Is a fan said like, you have to try Chicago deep dish pizza. It was my first time I'd ever been there, and they were like, I'm buying you pizza.
Hey, James, you were in a band?
Yeah.
I was in a band. Actually, what's funny is somebody.
He was actually in the band Chicago, believe it or not.
What's funny is we actually recently had a listener that put 2 and 2 together. They were like, I've been listening to the podcast for a while now, and I just realized you were in Devil Wears Prada. And they're like, oh my gosh. They just finally
were they a
pieced
fan
it
of the
together.
band?
Yeah, but they didn't realize it was me on the show.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, because you haven't played keyboards on the podcast
Yeah,
yet.
well, here, I'll do it right now.
I'm going to start a band called the Qui-Gon Jinns.
Hey, he's a Force ghost.
Interesting. I always said if I was going to have a band, it was going to be called the Dying Tauntauns, because that's exactly how bad the band would sound. Be like,
Rabble, 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 rabble.
What is happening?
But at least I'd be
What
warm.
is
Yeah.
happening?
I'd be warm on the inside.
I am so sorry, everyone listening.
Okay, so our next best comment came from actually our last Jedi Challenge winner, Sarah at SEH221. She beat out everyone for the last Jedi Challenge. So, Sarah, hopefully you entered the solo challenge. She said, I will 100% be there with my Gary the Porg.
Heck
All
yeah.
right, yes.
Yay.
Heck yeah. We're going to be bringing some Gary the Porg shirts with us, I think.
It's also possible you might meet the designer too. I was talking with the guy who made the shirt, and he was talking about, if it's in Chicago, yeah, maybe he will come up there too.
Oh,
So
nice.
he might be there to sign autographs. Let's put it that way. He'll get a big kick out of that.
Nice. Maybe we can get a mural and he could just keep drawing it by hand, like redrawing Gary the Porg.
Redrawing over and over.
And then our third comes from one of probably our MVP of commenters, but he seems really excited to hang out with us, so I got to give another shout out to Evan at Harris EV9. He said, already booked a hotel. Can't wait to meet you guys. And we can't wait to meet you too.
I'm so excited.
Well,
Evan and I are just going to bond and talk about Kylo Ren and just hang out.
I think what we should do is like not meet up with Evan, have him like on the other side of the conference hall, and have him just tweet his comments. So that we'll feel more at home.
No, I'm definitely hanging out. We're having like definite like a Kylo fan group meetup.
No, I'm with John on this. His idea is probably the best idea. I'm just kidding. We don't want to meet these people.
right,
we
so-
want to just be able to see them as they tweet us. Just kidding.
We want to see them tweet us.
Yeah.
Yeah, we want to spy on them as they're tweeting us. No, we want to hang out with all of you. So thanks to you three and the 40 or so of you who commented also. So again, we're going to plan something. We have plenty of time to do this. So obviously as we chip away at our plans and ideas, we'll keep you posted. But that about does it for the polls. We usually would go to James for the Newsnet, but instead we're going to go to James and talk about the solo challenge. It's time for us to take the challenge right here on the show. So we'll see if our answers matched up with yours. And then obviously next week, we'll see which of us here on the podcast was the closest to being correct. So James, explain for the people out there who haven't taken it yet, what is the solo challenge?
Get ready.
The solo challenge is 15 questions with different varying point structures. But basically, we put together a couple yes or no questions and maybe a few other different, types of like you get to pick your answer or multiple choice or something like that. but it's all speculation based. So, you know,
Right.
hey, is this character going to die? Yes or no? You know, stuff like that. Is there going to be a lightsaber that is ignited in this film? Or like back in the day, we were like, you know, is Captain Phasma going to do this thing or something, you know? And
Remove her mask.
yeah, exactly. And then we all go into the theater and we all are sitting there. Everybody who's taken the quiz, you guys will know it's weird. You watch the movie with the quiz in mind. You're like,
Right.
oh my God, he got that right. You know, or whatever. Like,
Right.
darn it. I had that one.
Right.
I thought for sure this wasn't going to happen. And then the last scene of the movie, sure enough, it does happen.
Or James, if you're me, you're sitting there like, what did I put for that answer? I don't remember if I put yes or no or.
Yeah, exactly. But it's great because, like, you know, you'll say like, you know, like, will a tauntaun show up or something, and then it does show up, and you're like, yes, like you just get more pumped because you're like, yes.
No,
Can
James,
you just
when you
not
do get
make that
excited,
noise ever again, please?
Okay. Well, we'll see. I may end the show with it. We'll see if I remember. James, the reason to get excited is why? What are the let's run down the prizes that these people can win if they do wind up having the highest score.
So many prizes. You have to do it like, you know, Pat Sajak.
Right. Well, he never introduced prizes.
Price is Right.
Price is Right. Yeah, okay. It's a new Hyundai! No, we're not giving away Hyundai.
We're giving away that car that everybody's seen that looks like an A-wing or whatever.
All right, well, each of us can go over it. So I'll say what the Black Series Rebels and Star Wars Explained, the two who are helping us with this promotion and contest. So the Black Series Rebels, they're famous for their pins. They sell out as quick as like Rolling Stone tickets. It's unbelievable. So they have 3 of their enamel pins that are themed, not affiliated with Lucasfilm, but one that looks like Chewie, one that looks like Han, and one that looks like Lando. And they're going to make those available for the winner. So that's what they're bringing to the table. So thank you, Alex and Steve.
Nice.
We also got Star Wars Explained that donated, since we kind of kept the theme of, you know, Solo and stuff like that, he wanted to donate a copy of the Last Shot novel. So if you haven't checked that out, or if you read it on audiobook, you can have a physical copy, as well as 3 pop vinyls, the Funko Pops. We have Chewbacca with the goggles, which is a hot commodity. I want that one. We got the classic Lando with the yellow shirt and the cape and scarf and
Is
stuff.
it Party Lando or whatever, or is it just the regular Lando?
It's not. It's regular Lando, but look at the eyebrow. The detail of the eyebrow is what gets me.
And then, of course, the last one is the Han Solo, the Alden Ehrenreich standard Han Solo, which we had talked about maybe doing another one, but there's a couple like weird Target exclusives and stuff. But these 3 are quite the pair. So you'll be able to wear these 3 on your jacket, and you'll be able to put these 3 on your shelf while you sit back and read Last Shot. But that's not where the prizes end. Lacey, what do they get if they win this from our end of the boat?
Well, James, they get a couple things, which is really cool.
Ooh.
They get 2 shirts. One Who's Scruffy Looking Han Solo shirt and the Mighty Chewbacca shirt. Both made by James, right, James?
Nice.
Hey.
They also get a Han Solo Black Series figure, which came from me with love. And then they also get a signed official Chewbacca image from AwesomeCon that was signed by Jonas, which is really cool.
Jonas Suotamo.
And he even sketched a Chewie. It's really cute.
That is with love, for sure.
Yeah, that is awesome. And when you put all these together, this isn't first place, second place, third place. If you win this thing, you're getting all of this stuff, guys. And just so you know,
That's such a haul, man. I'm so excited.
it is. Yeah, you need a full like Santa sack to fit all this stuff in, man. But we're anticipating ties because we're approaching like we're going to be close to probably 1,000 entries by the time this thing's good, maybe even more, who knows. So we're anticipating ties, and guess what? If there are ties, next episode that we're going to record right after Solo, our Solo reaction video, we're going to roll the dice on the show and determine who our winner is. So we're going to do it right on the episode. So make sure you listen to our next episode after Solo hits theaters. So I guess that's pretty much all the rules. Go enter it. Be sure to find it, enter it. But now it's time for us to give our answers, guys. You ready?
I am ready, man. I saw, we haven't seen it because it's been recorded yet, but, as of this airing, Alex put out his answers to the questions yesterday. And Black Series Rebels put out theirs last week, so we already know what they're saying. So I've interesting ones, a couple I disagree with, a couple I'm right on point with.
Ours is going to be a little longer than Alex Backus from Black Series Rebels. They did kind of a quick fire.
It was like a 3-minute
60-second. Yeah.
And half of that was pitching what the prizes are.
I have a good feeling about this, guys.
You have a good feeling about this? Mm-hmm. Okay. I have a bad feeling about this from my perspective, but we'll find out. I did win our podcast version of the Last Jedi Challenge, so there's only one way to go for me from here, and that's down. So the first question, James, start us off.
Yeah, I figured we'd do this kind of like how we did the, the tournament style, boom, 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 and then backwards. Will Darth Vader be seen or mentioned?
By name.
Yeah, by name. So with all of these, we're going to have to kind of judge the answers. Once we see the movie, we're like, well, did this really count or did this really count? But I think the idea here is he going to be in the movie or are they going to mention him by name? And I think that they will not. I'm going to say no.
Okay. I am going to say yes. I think he will. I don't know that he's going to appear, but I think he will be mentioned at some point in the movie. Even if it's like a stormtrooper walking by like, "Hey, did you see Lord Vader?"
Mm-hmm.
Like something like really quick. That's just my guess. You see that T-16? The Darth Vader?
With the Darth Vader model. It's really cool. It's all black.
Yo, did you hear that guy used to be Anakin Skywalker?
Yeah, Lacey, what do you think?
I'm going to say yes. I don't think you'll see him. I think he'll be mentioned by name because I feel like it's a missed opportunity for them to not mention him for fans that, he's hands down from our March Madness, one of the most beloved characters. It'd kind of be a disservice, I think, to people.
And the Empire has a big presence. There's a big presence of the Empire in this movie, it looks like. So.
Yep.
My reasoning is that I don't think Lord Vader is very well known I think people are just kind of...
When does the Thrawn book take place? The one that... wasn't it in the Thrawn book where they had to say yo, this guy's legit?
No, you're thinking of the comics, the Vader comic.
Right. So when did the comics take place in comparison to when Solo is?
The Emperor came out and said that this is, there's been some confusion about who this person is, so we're setting the record straight. This is Lord Vader, and words from him are like words from me. Orders from him are like orders from me. So there was that, but that was a very private thing. That wasn't known in the galaxy. I have always kind of understood Vader to be kind of like a ghost. Like people don't really, they just know that something happened on that planet and now they're like,
look, man,
straight.
All I'm saying is if they're going to throw Easter eggs of really obscure, silly things in Rogue One and stuff like that, I could see them just having someone walk by saying Darth Vader or something.
Yeah.
Very quickly. It's not going to be Han hey, who's that Darth Vader guy? I wonder if I'm going to, have him take my pistol away in 10 years.
Yeah. I think it would be cool if they mentioned him in a very, subtle way, but I don't know. I just kind of think if we're going on an adventure with Han Solo, I don't think he necessarily needs to be in anywhere close to the story. You want to move on to the next one?
Is the Wookiee seen in trailer number 1 with Chewbacca's wife? And I am going to say no. I think that's Lumpy. I think that's his son. Because I think he was doing hey, man, you got to take care of the family now.
Mm-hmm.
Your mom, she needs you. Save your strength. And then Han says that to Chewie later in Empire. And we get the Kasdan bookends, guys. So no, I don't think that is Mala. I think that is maybe his son or something like that. So I say no.
Lacey?
Yeah, I don't think I don't think that's the wife either. I think the forehead's been a known thing that it's a friendly gesture.
Mm-hmm. All right. I am too going to say the same thing. We've talked before on how I think that Jonas might have given that away with the little Baka thing. So I'm going on that and that alone. Plus, I think that it's a Wookiee and it's from behind, so there's not really any way to tell if it's even a family member. I mean, this question, I'm not sure if it will even be answered, but I'm assuming that it probably will because anybody that Chewbacca would be that close to or that affectionate to would probably have to be addressed as somebody. So we'll see. But I think we're all going to go with no on that one then, right?
Lacey, what's the third one?
The third question is, will we see an ignited lightsaber? And my answer is nope.
I'm with you, Lacey. I'm going to say no as well.
I'm also going to say no. So this is going to be if that happens, this is going to be the first Star Wars movie to not have an ignited lightsaber.
Right, because Rogue One, Vader does it at the end.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't think about that.
But it makes sense because with the standalones, they're trying to break away from the classic story. So a good way to do that is to tell us a story about a character who we all are familiar with, but yet maybe isn't so much in tune with that stuff, you know?
Right. And we're in the time period where the Jedi are being killed off or they're in hiding. Mm-hmm. They're not just running around. They're not going to be seen in the streets of Jeddah or or Corellia or wherever.
Now, what scares me is Dryden Voss being a collector.
Oh, like, hey, look what I got.
Yep. Some of the best relics from across the galaxy. He turns on the lightsaber or something like that. But the only thing that kind of also makes me think that's not true is I think that the Emperor and the Inquisitors and Vader were coming after lightsabers too. So I feel like that could kind of be a little tip off as to something. So I don't know. I'm going to go with no. I'm going to say nope. I think they're trying to move away from that in the standalone.
All right. Question 4, James.
Question 4 is, will we see any planets from previous movies? So this is Coruscant. This is Endor. This is, and I think the tricky one, the one that makes this difficult, Tatooine. We'll get to why maybe Tatooine will or will not show up, but I also am going no on this one.
Wow.
I don't think we're going to see anything. I think the main focus has been on the planets in the trailers and stuff. So usually when you see the trailers for the movies, there's not like surprise planets. Does that kind of make sense? So,
Lacey, what do you think?
I don't think so because I think similar. Do they go to a previous planet on Rogue One? No, they don't. They only go to new planets.
They go to Yavin 4.
Oh, right. Yes, you're right.
I am going to say yes, and I think we are going to Tatooine at some point in this movie.
Yes, and that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I don't know. I just feel like it's going to happen. So that is my guess. Just for that reason, I think that's going to be the one. It's going to be Tatooine. If it's not Tatooine, I don't think I would have said no. So that is my guess there. All right. So pretty simple one there, I guess. The next one may be simple too. In terms of consistency, will we see R2 and or 3PO? And I am saying yes, only because I don't see Larry Kasdan, of all people, who loves the tradition of this thing, excluding these guys and being the one to exclude them for the first time. He even included them with George Lucas in an Easter egg in an Indiana Jones movie, let alone that he's going to sit there and take them out of a Star Wars movie now. So I think at some point, whether it's one of them or the other, because it can be or, we are going to at least see, even on a video screen or something, we're going to see R2 and or 3PO in Solo.
Man, you're making me even want to change my answer. Because you're so right. I mean, this one's tricky because if I said they should have nixed the droids showing up in Rogue One, because right. Hey, I get it. They're in all the saga films, so we can do that. We probably won't go.
How about that? We'll get into that another time.
Yeah, but they were in the prequels, and that was kind of the point, is that they're in all the Star Wars movies. But then as soon as they started announcing Disney and standalones and stuff, I was like, yeah, they're definitely going to have to drop that at some point because it just doesn't make sense. What are they really going to show up in like the Old Republic and all this other stuff? It's weird. So I was like, they're not going to be in Rogue One. And then they were in Rogue One. So I was like, well, darn it. So my whole theory is maybe they're sticking to it. Dang it, John.
You can't change your answer. Yes. You already decided.
No, I decide right now.
Stick to your guns.
I have not filled anything out. I wanted to say no, but I'll say no. I'll say no. I'm a flip-flopper, man. I'm going no, right. John.
Okay. We'll see how that comes back.
Yeah. Lacey.
I'm saying yes.
Darn it, you guys. Here's the thing is like John's good at this stuff and I usually lose this stuff and I don't know how you are at it, Lacey, but I just honestly, I think you would be good at this stuff. The guessing, the understanding what could come from this movie. I don't know.
Yeah, so I'm going to say that they're definitely in it because they're in everything else. And going back to what you said, James, I don't think that 3PO can show up in Old Republic because he's built in the prequels.
Sure. Yeah.
But
No.
also-
Well, I know that.
Yeah,
I'm saying, I'm saying the legend was that the droids were gonna be in all the Star Wars movies or something. I was
Right.
like, well, now that they're doing standalones, that doesn't make any
Right.
sense.
Remember, it doesn't have to be both of them. This isn't a...
It could be one or the other.
Yeah.
I think they're going to be in the
back.
background at some point.
I mean, Chopper was in the background, so who knows
Yeah.
at this point?
So our next question is, will Chewie try to hurt or strike Han? I'm going to say yeah, because this is them getting to know each other. So I think he's going to hit Han at least once, if not more. You know, they get stuck in like those collars with the chains and everything. You don't tell me he's at once he's just going to smack Han, you know?
Yeah, I think he is going to also. I think in an interview with Aaron Reich a long time ago, he's like, yeah, they're going to meet each other and they may not necessarily get along at first. So I'm thinking maybe Chewie gives him a quick backhand, like a
Like a
something that knocks him
K2SO.
in the mud. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and I got another fresh one for you. So I could totally see that, because then from then on, then they become bros. And how do bros always start? They fight, you know?
Do they?
And then
is that a bro thing?
Yeah.
Only
Well,
my
when
friendships.
when I came on the podcast and John was on, like we just started throwing punches. No, I'm just kidding.
Your mama jokes. It was crazy.
But now we're bros.
Yeah, now we're bros, bro. So I'm going to say yes, because I think it'd be interesting to see.
I too think that he is going to strike or try to hurt him in some way. But my guess is he's going to give it in that double-handed chokehold that he had Lando in.
Oh, yeah.
And he's going to sit there and hold him, and we're going to see Alden. Yeah, we're going to, but Chewie, or whatever, oh, I'm a good guy. We need to get out of here. I just freed your family, or so, you know what I mean? Like, kind of a thing. Because I could see Han being like, he's one of the mud troopers, it looks like, from the trailers or whatever. So he's one of those guys. Maybe he does something that releases the Wookiees, and then as soon as he gets out, Chewbacca grabs him by the neck. And he's like,
right.
I'm trying to save you.
I could definitely see that. Yep.
Yeah. I'm going with yes on that, but that's
Okay,
just
so
my guess.
we all said yes on that one. Okay.
Because we're bros.
Because we're bros, bro.
We've had a couple where we've disagreed on, so we're doing all right. So the next question is, will Han and Kyra kiss?
Bow chicka wow wow.
So there's a lot of tension.
Sexual tension.
And they get really close on some of these trailer scenes. I don't know. Is it my guess first?
Yeah, you guess first.
Dang it.
Use the Force, James.
I'm going to say no. And this is a wild theory, but I think that they might fear that it would change how people see Han and Leia's relationship.
No.
If we see Han Solo kissing other
You're
women
telling me
before her.
the woman you spend the rest of your life with and or love to the end of time, you haven't met people before that? That's silly.
I'm not
Erroneous.
saying that he's not interested in Kyra.
Erroneous on all accounts.
I'm not saying that he isn't going to try to kiss her, and she's another strong female that's giving him the cold shoulder.
Don't call her a strong female.
So what I think is
She
going to happen
doesn't like that.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so Han and this weak female character are going to be really close to each other. I'm kidding, guys. Don't come at me, bro. I think they are. I'm going to say yes. I think they are going to kiss. But I think their initial attempt to kiss is going to be broken up by C-3PO, because we know that he loves to interfere in Han's attempts at kissing ladies. So that's going to be
You
3PO's
probably
cameo in
noticed the
movie.
red arm.
Yeah. We reversed the negative power coupling. Thank you. Thank you very much.
The real question is, will Kyra and Lando kiss, and then Han has something to say about it because he doesn't feel right about Lando, and she's an old friend, and
Which
I don't know.
explains why he's
some jealousy in there.
He's concerned about him when he's like flirting with Leia in Empire. He calls him an old smoothie.
Yeah, exactly.
I said that like two
no,
shows ago. I think though that since then, haven't they said that Dryden Voss is like her boyfriend?
It's they definitely have some kind of either professional relationship or romantic. Who knows? But I do think
You can't see my air quotes, but professional relationship.
Yeah. All right, Dr. Evil.
Yeah.
I think, but my quick answer, I think Han and Kyra are gonna share a kiss at some point in this movie.
I think they're gonna kiss twice.
Oh, okay. All right.
I think they're gonna kiss when they're younger, and I think that the tension's gonna come back later when they're older, and they're gonna kiss again.
All right. I can get that. I
can get behind half of that. You might be right that they kiss when they were younger, but then when they meet up again, I don't see them kissing, but I see them being like, yeah, remember the good old days. We had something, but it's gone.
No,
now.
they totally make out again.
But you said no, James. So you
No, I know. No,
yeah,
I'm
James,
not.
you said no.
But I'm saying
James,
that makes sense.
You said no.
I did say no, Lacey.
All right, so we have one no and two yeses. All right, so the next one, we spent way too much time on that one. Good grief, Charlie Brown. Will the Force theme be played? No. And I hope it's not, because it's played way too much in these new movies, and if there's no Jedi and there's no lightsabers, we don't need the Force. We don't need the Force theme. So I'm saying no, it will not be played in Solo: A Star Wars Story. Lacey, what do you think?
No, I think they're trying to keep this Jedi-less. Like they're keeping this as like a ragtag, putting together a crew Western, and they don't need the Jedi to be a part of it. So I don't see this happening. No.
I'm gonna say that it is gonna be played.
I like that we all at least have different answers going on here. Why do you think it's going to be played?
Because you guys said.
No. The Force theme was originally called the Force theme because it had to do with the Force and the spirit of that. And I think now that Disney's kind of taken it over, I think they just kind of think of it as the new theme for these movies. And it was in Rogue One. It was in Rogue One a decent amount. The Force theme plays as they're leaving Yavin, like they're taking off in their ship. Yep. The song is called "Trust Goes Both Ways," but it goes to na 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 na, and then they take off or whatever. But I think it will be there because I think it just is something that we do subconsciously to connect to Star Wars. When we hear that music, now it's Star Wars. It's in all the shows. If the comics could play music, it would be in there.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
All right.
It's in the novels, the audiobook novels.
Yeah, I was going to say it's in the novels. What? Lacey, what is our next question?
The next question is, will Enfys Nest remove her mask? I'm saying no. I don't think they want to give away who it is, and especially if this character is going to be in other movies potentially, they don't want to give that away in the first movie.
Interesting.
I mean, because then it would be pulling another Kylo Ren reveal, or I don't know. But then you fall into the Phasma territory where it never gets revealed. I don't know. I just don't see them removing this character's helmet.
See, I had a real tough time with this one. This was the one question, and the last question that I kind of tied together. Of the last question that we're going to do later. I flip-flop on this one a lot, and I'm saying yes. I think we are going to see Enfys Nest without a mask on. I just feel it's going to happen. I don't know why. Just a hunch. It's a 50-50 shot, folks. Sometimes you have to take chances, okay?
Yeah, you're right. Most of these are 50-50. I'm going to say yes.
All right.
I'm going to say yes, because I don't think this movie is going to be necessarily, I don't think the reviews have been like, oh, it's just full of surprises left and right. But I think that a character removing their mask and having that be somewhat of a reveal, I think that there's more to Enfys Nest than we're seeing. Because I don't know. I think they're kind of making him out to be an interesting character, but they're not interesting if all they really do is show up and try to steal stuff or whatever. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There's got to be something more to this character. I could be wrong, and I'll probably still like it if that's all the character does.
I love it if it's like that TV spot
on the surface
where we see her on the beach and she's like, whatever she says, and Beckett's like, you got a big problem. You got a problem. And Han's like, big problem. And then it's just like takes the helmet off. Like, oh yeah, what is it? Just like that quickly. Just takes her helmet off. Like, yeah, what's the problem? All right, James. Next question.
The next question is, will Chewie rip an arm out of a socket? So I think this question kind of comes from the feeling that since this movie is going to be full of like answers, how did Han do this? How did Chewie and Han do this? I think that that whole kind of classic story of, well, Chewie or Wookiees have been known to rip people's arms out of sockets. Well, actually, the quote is, droids haven't been known to rip people's arms out of sockets after losing. Or I'm really bad at quotes.
To do that.
Yeah, and Wookiees are known to do that. So, in the spirit of, are we going to see something from the past that kind of answers or makes a foreshadowing for later in the series? I'm going to say no.
You're going to say no after that?
Yeah, I mean that's the reason that we might see him pull an arm out of a socket, but I don't think they're gonna do that. I don't think they're gonna say, hey, look at this nod. We'll have him pull an arm out of a socket.
I think they are definitely doing this.
Especially because they cut it out of The Force Awakens.
I was just gonna say that. Way to just
Sorry, I was trying to agree with you.
Okay. I'm kidding, Lacey. I think it's gonna happen because I think fans have been waiting to see it. Not in a deleted scene. And it may be a droid, it may be a person, but I think it's going down. And I think Chewie's going to be really violent in this movie, and I love it.
Yeah, I think Chewie's he's going full crazy in this movie. I think we get him later on where he's more calm when we meet him in New Hope. So you have to think, like, what did he do between here and then to become so calm? Probably beat people up.
Chewie in the Solo era would still eat the porg. He'd be like, I don't care.
Yeah.
I'm young and I'm hungry. I'm only 190. I don't care about your feelings. All right, so James says no, and we both say yes, that it's going to happen. And I wonder what you guys are thinking as you're listening here, because I know a lot of you probably already entered your answers in, and you're probably yelling at us like, what are you, crazy, John? Yeah. Are you freaking crazy?
John doesn't know anything about Star Wars. This is not my Star Wars.
But listen, we got 5 more to go here, so we're getting rolling here. The next one is, who will say the last line of the movie? And there were a bunch of choices, and out of those choices, I said I think it's going to be Chewie. I think it's going to be Han and Chewie in the cockpit because Lawrence Kasdan loves things to be neat and tidy, and he bookends and in the pocket and familiar. They're going to be in the pocket. He's going to punch it to light speed, and it's either they're going to be them taking off the light speed or the ship flying at the camera, and Han's going to say something to Chewie, and Chewie's going to be like, and then it's going to be, so I'm going to say Chewie.
First of all, I think we should, for our reaction show, have a bingo game going for people that every time they hear a certain word, and John's would be bookend, because I hear that word all the time.
Yes.
I think Han's going to have the last word. I think he's going to say something witty, or...
He's going to say hope.
Oh, God, no. No.
The only way Han's last word is going to be hope is if Chewie says, what was the name of that stripper on this planet?
What? No, I think he would say something like... I don't know, he'd look at Chewie and just be like, you ready for this? Or like, you ready to go? Or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
But then Chewie would have to answer, so you'd be wrong.
Or he could just nod. Or he could just punch it.
Yeah.
He could just punch it.
All right, you want to hear my answer? No one. None. None of the above.
Is that why you
Here's my
none?
reasoning. Well, yeah, because it could be... I mean, I didn't put none just so that I could answer none.
That's the joke I'm
making.
making.
Because it might not be one of these 4. Yeah, and here's the thing
James
is...
tailored the answers based on his preference.
No, yeah. I went back and I watched all the endings to the movies, and I thought, you know what? None of these really wrap up with anybody specifically saying a great line, really. There's never... It's hardly a main character. And I just thought, I think that this is an easy go-to to say Han or Chewie or Lando. But although if I had to guess one of the 4, I'd probably go with you. I think Chewbacca would be a really good way to make people feel good about the movie, hearing him roar, and then, something.
Didn't Chewie have the last line in Empire?
It's hard to
No,
say.
they hug. Oh, wait, that's not a line.
Yeah, technically
Jeez
Luke.
Louise,
yeah, I know.
I'm
just thinking of...
Luke.
No,
Luke's
Luke
like,
has the last line, doesn't he?
Well, he says, "You take care, Chewie," and you hear Chewie over the radio to them saying like,
Yeah.
and then they smile at each other, and he hugs Leia.
I didn't consider it the last line of the movie, but Luke actually does say "ow" is the last like vocal something. I don't know if that... Yeah, because after Chewbacca gives that roar and she smiles, then it shows him and the thing's poking his hand and he goes, ow.
Oh, yes,
Like that.
okay.
And then he gets his hand fixed up and he gets out and he goes
yeah.
and
You know that
stands over
bingo
by them.
card? One of the squares is
But-
going to be random thing James brings up that everyone's going to have to look up after the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, like to get to the point, I looked up all the movies and it didn't feel like anyone special or a main character. It was hardly ever like a witty line. So I'm gonna go with none of the above. And I'm also kind of playing the averages on that. It's more likely that a random person would say the line versus
That's fine.
one
So
of these four.
You don't want to have fun and take chances. You just want to play the odds. I got it.
I'm
dude.
saying
Oh, we're gonna
Han
get to our
because you
next
know
question.
what? This is Lawrence's goodbye.
Right.
He's going to say goodbye to Han with having Han say the last thing.
Speaking of goodbyes, how about hellos? Lacey, what is the next question?
Was that a Beatles reference?
If you want it to be a Beatles reference.
Okay, well,
You can make
the
it
next
easy.
question is, which of these characters will show up? And the options are Boba Fett, Jabba the Hutt, Greedo, Sana Starros, Jackson, or none of the above. I'm going to say none of the above.
Interesting. Why do you feel a none?
I just don't think they're going to go that fan servicey with it. I think it would take away from the overall story that they're trying to depict by bringing in any of these characters.
See,
I think
I feel like
Jabba's going to be brought in verbally, which the question is, which one of these will show up?
yeah, you have
Yep.
to get to see them, right?
Yeah.
So I'm surprised by your answer there because I really feel like this movie is going to be like chock full of fan service. But
Could be.
I'm saying, and this is probably the most oft answered pair, but I'm
Can
saying,
Oh, okay. I was going to say, can I speculate and guess what I think your answers are going to
Yeah,
be?
go ahead.
I was going to say Boba Fett and Jabba the Hutt. But then you're thinking, I don't know. Now, see, you started with your, like, these are the most off-paired. So I don't know. I guess I'm thinking Jabba because you talked about Tatooine earlier, and then maybe also Sana Starros? I don't know. Maybe Greedo Jabba?
I was gonna say Greedo, but I think that would even Kazdan would be like, I can't bring Greedo into like that'd be people would get really annoyed about that. So
Yeah,
I think,
Han shot first, yeah.
yeah, I think it's gonna be if that happened in the movie, I'd be pissed. I'm just going with Boba Fett and Jabba the Hutt. I think they're both gonna be in the movie.
No, so Sana Starros is in there because you were saying, this movie might be fan servicey. So that makes sense that, that character could show up. This is right
No
around
way.
the time when that character was relevant.
No way.
Wait, are you saying she is gonna show up? Is this your answer?
No. I'm saying none of the above as well.
Oh, okay.
I'm with Lacey.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm between you two, and I think that if characters were to show up, it would probably be Boba Fett and Jabba the Hutt. But the reason I'm going with the none of the above is because, again, it's just it's kind of an odds thing. Like to be fair too, whenever you answer this question, you have to get it exactly right. You don't get it's worth the most points more than any other question.
Right.
It's worth 3 points, but you don't get any points if you put Greedo and Sana, but only Greedo shows up.
Right. Or
Like,
if
you
put
could be
Greedo
part right.
and Sarah and both of them and Jabba show up. You have to get everyone who's listed there.
Yeah, you have to be 100% correct. So Boba did not show up. You did not say Boba shows up.
Right.
Jackson does show up. You had to say that
And
Jackson was
obviously,
there.
if you select none and one of those do, then you lose those points. Yeah.
Then you're wrong as well. Yeah. So it's a risky move on that part.
So you guys are saying no, none of those people, and I'm saying Boba and Jabba.
Yes.
All right. James, what is our third to last question?
All right, so what we did for these next 3 questions is we didn't want to make it like the previous question where you had to guess everybody whether they were going to die or not. So we kind of split it up a little bit. We made each of these questions worth 2 points because there's 2 characters per question. And the questions are who will die, first person, second person, or both. And for the first one, it's the two people up on the chopping block are Beckett and Val. So do you think that Beckett will die? Do you think that Val will die? Or do you think they will both die? And I think that they will both die.
Me too.
Me 3.
And okay, so we're all saying both of them will die. Now, remember, all of you out there, I know some people asked us, what if neither of them die? Then nobody gets the points in this challenge. So we all lose. So don't worry about that. It's even either way. But yeah, that's cool. So we all three of us think that, excuse me, all three of us think that both of them will die. That's interesting. Why do you guys think they'll die? I just feel like they're not going to carry them over. It's going to be like one of those stepping stone passing the torch things for Han, and make him a little more jaded in life. That's my guess.
Yeah, I think that Val is, while she may be important to the movie, I don't think she's important to future stories. So I think they're going to kill that character off. And then I actually think that Beckett's death is going to be important in Han, in shaping Han specifically.
All right.
Yeah, I think Val's going to die because Beckett does something to make her die. And then I think Beckett will die later on.
All right.
Could be.
Our next one, who will die? So it's Dryden Voss, Kyra, or both of them. And I think only Dryden Voss is going to die. I think Kyra is going to live. And I used to be throwing this idea out the window, but I'm back on the whole thing of Kyra betraying Han. And I think if they continue this series and do another movie with Han and Chewie, I think she'll be an integral part in, not a main villain, but an adversary for him. So I'm going with Dryden Voss is going to be the only one out of this pair to die. Lacey, what about you?
I think the same thing. I think Dryden's going to die. I think Kyra's going to live. And I think Kyra's going to betray Han. And I've been riding that bus since day one.
I was off it for a while. And then today I was thinking and I'll explain why in my next answer for the next question. So James, go ahead.
I think Kyra is going to die and Dryden Voss is going to live. I'm so bummed when you guys both said that. I'm like, darn it.
That's interesting. I could also see Kyra dying too if she's always good with Han and him getting up, him being crushed about it.
No, she's not going to die.
Too.
My reason for wanting, or not wanting, but thinking that Dryden Voss could live is because I don't think you necessarily always need to kill the villain. The villain doesn't always need to die. They just sometimes need to lose. So I think Han very easily could just say, well, screw that guy, never going back to that planet, and then just, flies away or gets away or something like that. And I don't necessarily think you need to we don't need to see, we're not going to hate Dryden Voss so much that we feel good when we see his death. You know what I mean? I don't think he's that type of a villain, so I see him living. As for Kyra, I think she's too important to Han because they've made him out. They were childhood friends and all this other stuff. Now, she could live and she could show up in other sequels and then maybe they'll kill her off later. But if you just have to assume that this is a solo movie, meaning a standalone, a single movie, I don't think she makes it out. So that's why I'm saying that, but I'm against you guys.
The reason I picked
I'm going to get
Dryden
8
Voss
points on this thing, I swear to you.
We're all going to do bad. I remember I won the Last Jedi Challenge doing horribly.
Yeah.
But the reason why I think Dryden Voss is because remember, Paul Bettany replaced Michael K. Williams, who was playing a different version of the character. He's playing like a lion type of looking thing. Mm-hmm. So I don't know that it's that integral of a character. He's going to be like a villain or whatever. So I think he's just going to not phasma, but I think they're going to kill him off and we're just kind of all going to be like, bye, Paul Bettany.
Yeah, I mean, he texted Ron Howard to be in the movie. It can't be that crazy of a part.
We'll see you in the next Avengers when you come back. All right, so we have one more question to go. The final question. Lacey, what is it?
The final question is, who will die? Infus Nest, L337, or both? And I'm going to say, once again, they're going to rip my heart out and kill a droid in front of me, but they're not going to kill Infus Nest. And I think that Infus Nest isn't the bad guy that everybody thinks that they are.
All right. I think the opposite. I think L337 is going to survive because they did that to us in Rogue One. And everyone keeps talking about how great L337 is, except Christian Harloff. He said he hated the character. But everyone else said they loved it. So interesting enough. Enfys Nest, again, that's why I went back to before her taking off her helmet. I think she's going to die in this movie. I don't think her or Dryden Voss are going to be big time players in the future if they do more of these stories. Again, I'm probably wrong because I did hear rumors that Enfys Nest's actress was signed on for multiple movies, though that doesn't necessarily mean anything. I get it. But I think Enfys Nest is going to be the one that dies of this pair. James?
I'm with Lacey. I think L337 is going to get blown up or have to do something to sacrifice, and it'll be a noble end to that character. But I think that Enfys Nest is kind of on the same page with Dryden Voss. I think they could potentially just say, well, we thwarted that villain, and just kind of like move on.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be a kill. But I do think it's interesting that the person, and I could be wrong, I might be remembering this incorrectly, but Lacey, you have been saying that you think Enfys Nest is Val, yet you say that Enfys Nest will live and Val will die.
Yeah, I changed my mind once I did this quiz.
You changed your mind that you no longer think that Val is Enfys Nest in disguise.
Correct, because I think Val dies.
Wait, I said that backwards, but yes. You know what I meant.
I just think that she's going to eat it. And I think that's why you don't see her with Enfys Nest later in the movie, because she's died and they've moved on to the next thing. And that's why you see Enfys Nest there.
Well, those are the 15 questions. That's our take on it. Obviously, I know a lot of you out there probably had different answers. I know a lot of you out there are going to score better than we did if history is any indication from our last challenge.
Yes.
Although, Lacey, this is her first time with us, so she may have knocked it out of the park.
The odds are against us, though. It's like, who's going to score the highest? Us three or 1,000 other people?
Yeah, right. Yeah. So that is it. Make sure if you haven't entered yet, you can be inspired by our guesses or go the other way. I'll let you decide that, but go enter it either way. Like we said, there's a great haul. 3 pins from Black Series Rebels, 3 Funko Pops from Star Wars Explained, including the DJ Older book, Last Shot. And we are giving you guys from the Resistance broadcast 2 of our t-shirts designed by James here. And the autograph that we got from Awesome Con via Lacey from Jonas Suotomo. He signs a Chewbacca photo with a little drawing of Chewbacca on it, so it's an authentic autograph, and a Black Series Han Solo Alden Ehrenreich version of the figure. So that's all going to you if you are the winner of this thing, and you will find out later in the week when we do our post-Solo reaction episode. So that's it for the Solo Challenge. We hope you enjoyed listening to our takes on it, and we had some fun with it anyway. And now we're going to do a discussion about Celebration, but guys, I think we're kind of getting up on time, so maybe we should talk about Celebration next week. What do you guys think?
Yeah, definitely. I'm super excited. I used to work for them.
Yeah, there's a lot to talk about. Like Lacey was saying, she's got a little bit of inside information on how these things go down. So you might want to check in with us next week to see
Ask your questions.
How we're gonna be approaching everything. But the Star Wars Celebration is an exciting venture for all of us, and we're all excited to be there and to be going. So tune in for that later. Let's just go ahead and do our questions. We put out our regular Ask the Resistance. If you guys have any questions, make sure to either tag us in a question or use the hashtag Ask the Resistance. Send us some stuff and we'll talk about it on the show. And we actually got a couple here, some for individuals and some for all of us. Lacey, you wanna answer that first one?
Yeah, sure. So the first question comes from Shaun Sannerude at Rude Cold. And his question is, with the yes-no talk of a Lando film, doesn't it make sense to have one with there being much more creative freedom and storytelling than having a Kenobi film? My answer is not necessarily. I mean, Lando is a secondary character to Han, and I don't know if I could see him carrying a film. I can see Donald Glover carrying a film, but I don't know what kind of adventures he would go on without Han being there. Because, I don't know, it's just, I'm trying to think of an example off the top of my head, and I can't think of one right now.
Well, there's the Lando comic, and there's also Lando with Shriv from Battlefront. They kind of go on their own adventures as well. Now, granted, that's a little bit more Billy D. Lando, but
sure, like, you know, I love Finn, but I wouldn't want to see a Finn movie. Sorry.
Sure, I understand that.
Or I wouldn't want to see a Poe movie either. So it's just one of those things that I just can't see that being a main character. It doesn't mean it's not a great character. It's one of my favorite. He's one of my favorite characters.
But you would want to see a Salacious Crumb movie.
I would rather see a Kenobi film. Guys, I said this last week. I am 100% on board. I wasn't originally, but I love Ewan McGregor, so I'm in. John, you want to take the next question?
Yeah, so the next question is from our friend Stormtrooper Pete.
Pete!
He has an exclamation point in his name, so Stormtrooper Pete!
I just love Pete. Pete!
At Stormtrooper Pete. And for all of us, he said, Lacey, John, James, it's been talked about, dissected, debated, and argued 1,000 different ways, but I'll ask again. What's the one thing you hope to see in Solo: A Star Wars Story? I want an ending Jabba, Boba, cameo to tease us and a hint of movies to come. So what do you guys think? Is there one thing you need to see in this movie?
You know, I can't remember, and it might actually have been Stormtrooper Pete, so it's kind of off the top of my head, but man, I love the Easter eggs. I love the nods, the canon nods, man. That stuff gets me more excited than anything, and it sounds so geeky, and it sounds so like, come on, you don't want to see a good movie? I obviously want to see a good movie. I want to go on a fun adventure with Han Solo, but I think the thing that's really going to take it away from me is I'm going to love seeing, like, you know, like he picks up a lightsaber and it's not just a lightsaber. You know, that's Count Dooku's lightsaber or something, you know what I mean? They don't mention that. It's just, we know that, you know what I mean? I love going into and dissecting that stuff and talking about that stuff and trying to piece together, well, how'd he get it? You know, that's the stuff that gets me the most excited, but that's a story for another time.
Yeah. That's like a fun scavenger hunt though. I get you.
That's a Maz Kanata joke. How'd she get the lightsaber?
Yes. Yeah. Oh, wow. I'm surprised I didn't pick up on that. Damn. You didn't do it in the voice. That's why.
Yeah.
I just need to see moments and new memories, seeing Han and Chewie develop their friendship. I want to see that friendship become what we knew it was when we see them in A New Hope. So it's really simple, but that's what Kasdan said this movie's all about, and I just want to see it happen, and me to buy in and be all in. I don't need to be 100% on Alden, I guess, but if I can see these two have some new cool moments together, and I buy the friendship and see the younger version of the version of these two together, that's all I need from this movie, Pete.
Yeah, I want more alien moments. Like, I want a good, legit Therm Scissor Punch moment, and I don't want them to just be in the background. I want more aliens in this movie. And I kind of want nods to, kind of like what John said, but nods to who Han becomes in the future. That, like, you can clearly call back and be like, oh, that's why he said this kind of thing. So it's kind of a combination between the two of you guys.
Yeah.
But yeah, give me some Therm. That's what I want.
So our next question came from Scotty Jayro at the Scott Jayro. I think this is his first time.
Scotty.
Scotty
I think
is
this is his first time making an appearance. No.
First time.
Yeah. He said, all right, are we going to see, and we talked a little bit about this, but are we going to see Bib Fortuna, Jabba, Salacious Crumb, Yak Face, Tatooine, Rancor, Greedo, Twins from the Cantina, hashtag Dewanawanga, hashtag Ask the Resistance.
That is one of my favorite lines from that movie. Dewanawanga.
No, we talked a little bit about this, and, John seems to think that Jabba's going to show up. He seems to think that Boba Fett is going to show up, even though you didn't mention that. All the other ones, I mean, those would be interesting cameos. I mean, the Twins from the Cantina makes a little bit of sense because that's kind of a smuggler spot. Tatooine kind of makes sense because, what I just said, it's kind of a smuggler spot. Greedo, Jabba, Boba Fett are all there. Here's the thing. I mean, we don't know. And we're excited to see anybody. If any of these people show up, I'm going to be like, heck yeah. I mean, I just said I love the Easter eggs. So if I see Bib Fortuna kind of like walk behind him and turn his head, and I'm going to be like, yes.
Give me Crumb.
Yeah, he wants Crumb.
The guy who did his voice is still around. Like, give me Crumb, man. Just quickly. Lacey, did you have one that you think you'll see out of that group?
I honestly don't think any of those people are going to show up. Sorry, guys. I don't think they're going to show up. I would think it would be cool, though, if they were in somewhere sketchy and you saw in the background some guy buying a baby Rancor.
Scotty, don't direct any questions
there you go.
Don't direct any questions towards Lacey anymore.
I just watched Euro Trip, so all I can think of is Scotty doesn't know.
He's probably heard that a million times.
I tweeted something from the RB account today for our Resistance Broadcast logo t-shirts, and I said, if you wear one of these to Celebration, I'll buy you a beer, a coffee, or an apple juice. And I just realized Scotty already owns one of these, so you know he's going to show up now with that shirt on when he buys us the pizza, and I'm going to have to buy him a beer or something. But anyway, that's
Wear
cool.
one every day, Scotty. That's 5
Plus,
beers.
you just tipped him off.
Yeah, I know, but you know he's going to do it anyway.
Yeah, Scotty, I'm talking to you right now. You want a free beer? Wear the shirt. Do it. Bring it with you.
Our next one is from Ryan Syme. We always call him Simi, but I'm going to say your name is Ryan Syme. Isn't it, Ryan? Ryan Syme at Scott00, and he said, are you worried at all this movie could suffer from the Marvel villain problem, which I don't think they have anymore? Lots of possibilities, but no clear lead bad guy. Thanos, anyone? Really?
Well, yeah.
Ryan, I am going to say yes. That's why I think, I don't know that Solo needs a real villain, because it's kind of like a coming-of-age story for Han. But I don't know that Dryden Voss is going to be a great villain. I think he's going to die. I think Enfys Nest is going to die. And I think we may get a little Kaiser Soze situation with Kyra. I'm back on that train. But yeah, I think it could have a villain problem. If you want to say that it's not going to have its Darth Vader or Palpatine, I could totally see that happening. So maybe, but I don't think it's going to affect the movie that much for me anyway. So I'll say yes, it could have the problem, but I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal for this movie.
We have another question. We're just doing all of it, man. We're just going through it tonight.
Yeah.
Matt Hassan at Cone Crew Carl, which is interesting username for his actual name.
Is it like
he said
construction cones, ice cream cones?
Cone Crew Carl.
Which kind of cone is it, Carl? AKA Matt.
He's in an ice cream gang.
I'm putting together a crew.
Cone.
Yeah. You in? If you enter this life, you enter the
big scoop cone. Gangsta.
He said, where are you guys in the theory that Han starts off as a mud trooper, and are you prepared for the backlash from the people that will call it a ripoff from the Finn origin story if it ends up being true?
How is it a ripoff if Lawrence helped write The Force Awakens?
Well, yeah, that's true too. But I was going to say,
artists rip off their own shit.
Not only that, it would, in the timeline, it would put Finn after Han.
No, I think that you say, where are we on the theory that Han starts off as a mud trooper? And I think the trailers have already told us that he is a mud trooper. So he's already in Imperial garb. He's already there, and he calls out, Beckett and Val that they're not supposed to be there, but he is. He's like, I'm not supposed to be here either. That's not the line. He's like, I want in. I'm here now, but I want in on what you guys are doing. I think he's definitely a mud trooper. And are we prepared for the backlash from people that will call it a ripoff from the Finn origin story? Here's the thing, though, is that even if you were to say Lawrence Kasdan wrote both stories, the story of Han Solo being in the Imperial Army and then, moving away from that, I think even maybe specifically being a stormtrooper, was written long before Finn. So if you could almost maybe argue that story was kind of like, well, we'll take this story from like an old Han Solo story about a stormtrooper who defects or yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that's maybe where they got the Finn thing. So it's kind of one of those things, who came first, the chicken or the egg? I don't know. But I think maybe casual fans might say, well, that's the same thing as what they did with Finn. But I think most people kind of know that that's like the history of Han Solo. A little known fact, he might have actually, he was in the Imperial and then he got out. So I don't know. I don't think there will be like a big backlash, but I don't know. You might be right. Maybe. That's my classic line now. Maybe. My DJ line.
That's going on the bingo card.
Maybe.
Lacey, take us home.
The last question is Blog of the Hut at Blog of the Hut. I love that. That's so great.
Way to get your handle, Blogga.
Blogger. In the Star Wars universe, do you think it is offensive that both Lando and Han wear big fur coats around Chewie? It depends if it's Wookiee fur. What kind of fur is it?
Well, if we see at the beginning of the movie like Chewie walking around with a big red can of paint, then we know that it is offensive.
Okay, who's going to tweet to Pablo? Pablo, is it canon?
I don't know. That's a really funny question, though. I don't think it's offensive, though. I think Star Wars is
Dude eats porgs.
It's a wild
not
galaxy
offensive.
with a lot going on, and I don't think that's... Chewie's going to have a lot going on. I don't think that's going to be on his priority list. And I don't think it's Wookiee hair anyway.
Probably bantha hair.
Yeah, this is an interesting question because I think Wookiees are considered sentient beings, but I would imagine that what the fur they're wearing would be from an animal or like a non-sentient being kind of a thing. So I would imagine that would kind of be the case in the same vein that like I don't get offended when somebody's wearing that fur because I have hair on my body too. You know what I mean? They just Wookiees happen to have more.
Plot twist. Wookiee hair is actually a fur coat.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Chewie
it's actually
unzips.
like a full on pajama thing. Like he just like unzips it. It's all a merchandise thing for a new line that's coming out this fall from Urban Outfitters. But what is interesting to me is, do you think we'll ever get a storyline in a book, a comic about people who hunt Wookiees for their fur? That would be an interesting.
That's kind of messed up. That's dark, James. Way to end this podcast in a very dark place.
Coming to theaters in 2024, Rian Johnson presents Skinning Wookiees, a Star Wars story.
Blogga's going to be scarred from your answer.
I'm not talking last shot spoilers, but there are things in that are kind of similar. So maybe I'm kind of getting that from the most recent Star Wars novel, Lacey.
Doesn't matter.
Maybe that's where it's coming from.
Erroneous.
I think that's all the questions this week, guys.
It is. If you want your question asked or answered on the podcast, you can tweet to us with hashtag AskTheResistance. Bring us home, John.
All right. Thank you all so much for listening and being a part of the Resistance. Be sure to subscribe to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube. Rate us 5 stars on iTunes and like and leave a comment on our YouTube videos. As always, visit our website, StarWarsNewsNet.com, every day for all of your latest Star Wars news, information, editorials, reviews, and more. And listen, if you like other movies, head to our new website, MovieNewsNet.com. James, where can people find you?
You can find me standing in line for Solo, man. I don't have reserved tickets, so I right after this podcast comes out, I have my ticket, but I don't have a seat. So I'm going to stand there for T-minus 4 days. I hope there's a bathroom close. But, you can find me in the regular places at Myra Trunks. That'd be Twitter and Instagram. I would, after this movie comes out, guys, because this is our last podcast before that, but after it comes out, man, blow us up, talk to us. Like, we want to talk about this stuff. I have a good feeling that all 3 of us are going to enjoy the film. I don't think we're going to be negative about it and say that it sucks. I think there's going to be a good vibe coming from the Resistance broadcast. And think about, when you did the Last Jedi challenge, think about it when you're in the movie. You know what I mean? Think about your answers and be curious if you're going to get things right or get things wrong.
Right on, man. Lacey, where can people find you?
People can find me on Twitter at Lacey Gillerin, and I'll be with John at Solo. Woo!
Yeah!
We're going to a
3
fan
days.
event. So that means I'm going to tweet mad photos of just John doing awkward things that he's not going to realize I'm taking pictures of him.
I'm going to take my sabacc dice, or whatever those things are called, and I'm going to roll them across the whole auditorium in the theater.
It's going to be hashtag JohnWatch 2018.
Oh, we know how those watches go around here. You guys can find me on Twitter at Johnny Hoey and writing over at StarWarsNewsNet.com. And like Lacey said, this Thursday, you can find me at the movie theaters in the world famous Danbury, Connecticut theaters with Lacey as we watch Solo, a Star Wars story for the very first time. And don't forget, as James said, later this week, after the movie's debut, we will be recording a special episode of the Resistance broadcast reviewing Solo that we're going to get turned around as quick as possible and out to you guys so you can hear our thoughts about the movie and you can interact with us. Like James said, light us up, hit us up. And so be sure to keep an eye out for that. We'll get that out to you as soon as possible. And listen to it after you've seen the movie, of course, because we're going to spoil the crap out of that thing. So enjoy your week. Enjoy Solo, a Star Wars story. And we will be back with you on the other side of it right here on the Resistance broadcast. Oh, what was that thing I said I was going to say at the end of the show before? Oh, yeah.
Oh, God. Oh, no.